Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you need to send a signal to a remote process, but you just can't figure out how? It can be really frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of something important. If that sounds like you, stick around because today we're going to solve that problem together. I totally get it. You're in an SSH session and you need to send a SIGINT, but you can't just start a new session or kill the process. It's a common scenario that many users face, and it can feel like you're stuck in a tech maze. Here's the specific question we're tackling today. One user asked, how can I send a SIGINT to a remote process running in the foreground of my SSH session without using the -T option? If you've ever been in this situation, you're definitely not alone. So what exactly is the issue here? When you're connected to a remote server via SSH, sending a SIGINT, which is essentially a request to interrupt a process, can be tricky. Normally, you would use the T option to allocate a pseudo terminal, but that's not always feasible. And trust me, you won't want to miss the solution I have for you at the end. It's a game changer for managing remote processes. To send a SIGINT to a remote process running in the foreground over an existing SSH session, the user can utilize the built-in job control features of the shell. First, they should suspend the process by pressing Ctrl+Z. Next, the user needs to bring the suspended process back to the foreground. This can be done by typing the command FG and pressing Enter. This will allow the user to interact with the process again. Once the process is in the foreground, the user can send the SIGINT signal by simply pressing Ctrl+C. This will terminate the process gracefully. If the user needs to send the SIGINT signal without bringing the process to the foreground, they can use the kill command with the process ID. To find the process ID, they can use the PS command. In summary, the user can either suspend the process and send the SIGINT directly, or use the kill command with the process ID. This allows them to manage the remote process effectively without needing to open a new SSH session. Fun fact, the SIGINT signal is often sent when you press Ctrl+C in your terminal. It's like a magic button for stopping processes. Now, let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach to sending a SIGINT to a remote process over SSH without using the -T option involves a specific command. First, you use STTY to change the interrupt character on the server to Ctrl-N. This prevents conflicts with your local interrupt character. Then, you set up a trap for the SIGINT signal to ensure that the process can be interrupted without losing output. Finally, you can stop the program by pressing Ctrl-N. Here's a pro tip. Always keep track of your process IDs when working remotely. It can save you a lot of time and hassle in the future. And there you have it. You now know how to send a SIGINT to a remote process over SSH without starting a new session. Remember, managing remote processes doesn't have to be complicated. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks.